You find yourself with your credit scores not as high as you want them to be or need them to be. You look for a credit repair company. How do I get them up? And then you research it a little bit and you read all these articles about how people have been scammed money. And they've spent a lot of time and gotten very little effort. So you find yourself asking, does credit repair really work? We're going to cover that subject today. Thanks for coming back. This is Aaron Huebner. I'm the Executive Director of the ASCENT Network. The ASCENT Network is a nonprofit organization designed to help people restore, rebuild, and repair their credit. In today's episode of Credit Repair Resources, we're going to be talking about a subject and a topic that really encompasses not only you, the consumer, but also the industry that I'm in. The question at hand is, does credit repair really work? Well, the answer to that question, plain and simple, is yes. Unequivocally, yes. I've been doing this for 34 years. I can tell you right now, I would not be in business for that long. I've owned 3 different companies that deal with credit repair, credit restoration, and credit score improvement. If it didn't work, I cannot say that I would have not looked at close to 1 million credit reports over those 34 years. I could not tell you that we have helped hundreds of thousands just in my companies that I've owned over the last 34 years. I could tell you that we would not have been able to get our 501c3 exemption from the federal government as a nonprofit organization if we could not have demonstrated that we were doing the public good by the services that we offer. So the answer to today's question very simply is yes, it is. But now if we want to get into the weeds just a little bit, I can prove to you that credit repair really does work. And here's how I can do that. The federal government has passed 8 federal regulations or acts that deal with credit. And more specifically, each one of these that I'm going to give you right now and discuss very briefly, but each one of these is utilized in credit restoration, credit repair, credit score improvement. The first act is called the Consumer Protection Act, Consumer Credit Protection Act, or the CCPA. That's one act that was passed by Congress that protects the consumer with all things credit-wise, which includes reporting and what creditors can do or offer the consumer. The Fair and Accurate Credit Transaction Act, better known as FACTA, that's the second act that the federal government has passed. The Fair Credit Billing Act, FCBA, while that act is more limited to the individual creditors, the banks, the credit card companies, the automobile financing companies, that act does also contain items and points that we have to abide by in our business as well. The Fair Credit Reporting Act, that's kind of the cornerstone act for all of these acts. Everything kind of revolves around the Fair Credit Reporting Act, or FCRA. The Fair Debt Collections Practices Act, that focuses on the debt collectors, the collection companies out there, and how credit repair companies have to deal with them. Equal Credit Opportunity Act, or ECOA, that is 100% a consumer generated or consumer-based act, federal act that protects the consumer. And then these last two that I'm going to mention are acts that deal specifically with credit repair. The first is the Credit Services Organization Act, or CSOA. This lays out full guidelines as to if you're going to deal with MasterCard, Visa, any national credit card company that issues credit in multiple states, crosses state lines, what you have to do, how you have to be set up, the criteria you have to meet. And the final one is the Credit Repair Organizations Act, the CROA. There is a full federal act that was designed, drafted, and voted into by the Congress of the United States, signed off by the President, that deals with the credit repair industry. Congress would not have spent the time, effort, and energy to create an act specifically for this industry if it wasn't effective. Now, with all that being said, to be quite honest with you, there's a lot of players in this game that don't play by the rules. And they, a lot of times, come into it with the attitude or the approach that it's easier to ask for forgiveness than it is for permission. You don't want to deal with these companies. What are some of the red flags? The red flags are guaranteed to raise your credit scores in 30 to 60 days. Guaranteed to see increases in your credit scores of 100 or more points. Guaranteed to have items removed from your credits, bankruptcies, judgments, foreclosures within 120 days. Now, can those items be removed? Yes, we've seen them removed many, many times. But to make a guarantee to someone and take someone down the path that everything is going to be going from bad to pure and perfect within 120 days, that's just not right. That's not the way the system works. Because those acts give us a progression. They give us a guideline that we have to follow, that the consumer has to follow. If they want to dispute, if they want to open an investigation, and if they want to demand the verification and validation that those laws and acts give them as a consumer. You have to know the procedures in order to be able to practice good credit repair, meaningful credit repair. Can you do it on your own? You betcha. I have clients ask all the time, is this something I can do on my own? Or this sounds like something I can do on my own. Nothing we at ASCENT or any of the other companies out there have any kind of magical powers. We don't have back doors into the credit bureaus that we have contacts with, that we get things erased from. We don't have large erasers that we can magically make things disappear. We just simply abide by those laws. The hook is, as a consumer, if you try to contact the credit bureaus and you don't understand those laws, those federal acts, and you don't follow the process that is outlined, the truth is, the credit bureaus, they don't even have to respond to you under the law. There is a certain way, there's a right way and a wrong way. And unfortunately, because the average consumer doesn't understand the process, they do it the wrong way. And then they just make the assumption, credit repair doesn't work because I tried it and it just didn't work for me. I'm here to tell you it does work. But it only works if it's done right. So, I encourage everyone to attempt, if they desire, to contact the credit bureaus. And I'll give you a tip. Don't contact the creditor. They're not the ones responsible for the items on your credit report. It's the credit bureau that is responsible. Why? Because they're the ones that is selling your information and making a profit off of it. So it's their responsibility to investigate, verify, and validate that the information that they're putting out there into the public sphere is accurate and truthful. So your contact needs to be with the credit bureau, not with the creditor, regardless of what the credit bureau comes back to you in a letter and says. I mentioned in the last episode that a lot of this can be overwhelming. Well, this part of it truly is overwhelming for the consumer. The average consumer is out there working 40 hours or more a week just to keep a roof over their head and food on their plates. They don't have an additional 20 hours a week to research federal laws and construct correspondence that meets the guidelines of those federal laws, and then wait around for the answers to come from the credit bureaus, hopefully. And when the answers aren't what they want to hear, then they really don't know what the next step is to take. ASCENT can help you do that. That's why we're here. We help people reestablish, rebuild, and repair their credit every day. And I've been doing this for 34 years, every single day. So if you need that help, you want that help, take a look at the numbers that you see on your screen, reach out to me, and I'd be more than happy to talk to you about your situation. I'm Huebner with the ASCENT Network, and I hope to talk to you soon.